Hello YouTubers, this is a Geek Must Have with a software toolbox video on replacing the standard Microsoft Windows Notepad with something much better and more powerful. Watch the video to find out how it's done. For most of my text editing needs, I use Microsoft's Visual Studio Code, which in my opinion is one of the best editors available today. Visual Studio Code isn't just a text editor. It's also an integrated development environment. They call it an IDE. And it's for all types of languages, including JavaScript, Node, Ruby, Python, just to mention a few. You can stay in Visual Studio and do your editing, your developing, and your testing. Now that I've talked up Visual Studio Code, you probably think that's the editor I'm going to suggest. But it's not the best tool for quickly opening up a file to just look around or do a few simple edits. The old standby in every Windows release since the very first one has been the humble Notepad. Notepad's quick to open and has the basics for an editor. But that's the problem. The basics aren't usually enough for developers to do the task at hand. There are plenty of other editors out there. If you go to Google, you can find probably 100 of them that have much more capability than Notepad. Some of them, like Notepad++, PSPad, TechNote, and my selection, Notepad 2. In this view, the standard Microsoft Notepad is on the left-hand side, and the Notepad 2 is on the right-hand side. Now, Notepad 2 literally looks like Windows Notepad, except for a few extra features. And you can see like a toolbar on there and a footer at the bottom. The thing is, Notepad 2 is very, very small in size. It only consists of 2 files. Notepad 2 is portable, which means it can be installed in any directory and used from that directory. What are some of the features that made me decide to use Notepad 2 as an alternative to Microsoft's Notepad? Well, here's a features comparison. My favorite features are the line numbers and syntax highlighting, and its ability to help me match braces and brackets and compress trailing blanks. Notepad 2 hasn't been updated since 2012, but it is a solid application under all editions of Windows, including Windows 10. The most current version is version 4.2.25. I'll leave links in the description to where you can find Notepad 2 from Flo's website, as well as a copy in the Geek Must Have repository. Now, the one that's in the Geek Must Have repository also has the theme file for the Dark Theme. Type in Notepad 2, and I've been to Flo's website already. And here is the 64-bit edition right here, Notepad 4.2.25. And we're going to download that. And that downloads. And then I suggest that you unzip this into the downloads directory. And so we'll do an extract. We'll say extract all. And we'll say down to just Notepad 2, like this. So we're putting it down to the downloads Notepad 2 directory. So click on extract. And there we are. And now we'll quickly test it by clicking on the Notepad icon. And we'll open up the notepad.txt that comes with this. And there are all the features and the description and an example of how Notepad 2 works. There are quite a few articles on Google on how to make Notepad 2 launch when you start the regular Notepad. Almost all of them require some form of registry magic and voodoo, which I always hesitate to play with. If you accidentally screw up your registry file, you can seriously hose your system. If you want to add Notebook 2 to your commands so that it's available in every directory, you could just copy the Notepad 2 files into the proper Windows systems directories. There are multiple of them. This is another thing I avoid just doing because it can have a negative effect on other applications. I have another approach which works for me and is simple to create and maintain. This method can also be used to have other utility programs be available system-wide. Now, I make this as a suggestion, and it's only a possible solution, but it's not the only one. This approach consists of creating a special folder under the root of the C drive called myCommands. Then I copy any of the utility applications like Notepad 2, JSON Editor, and Zoom It into the myCommands folder. Now, to wrap this up, there are environment variables on every Windows system that help to configure and specify how the system should operate. One of the environment variables is called path. It tells Windows which paths or which folders to look in for commands that Windows can execute. By adding the myCommands folder to the path variable, then any command found in the myCommands folder will be available across the entire system. It's even possible to associate certain file types, in my case TXT and ADOC files, to be opened by Notepad 2 by default. The next part of this toolbox video will show you how to implement this so that you can make Notepad 2 available system-wide. We'll start out by creating the myCommands folder using the File Explorer, and you can open that by pressing the Windows key and E. Then we'll move to the C drive, and at the C drive we will then create a new folder, and that folder will be called myCommands. The next step is to take the Notepad 2 files that we dropped temporarily in that Downloads Notepad directory, and we'll find those. So in the Downloads Notepad we have these files here, and we will copy those files to the myCommands directory. The next step is to open up the environment variables and change the path to include the myCommands folder. We'll do that by clicking on the window icon and typing in env, which is enough. And we want to edit the environment values for our account. We don't want to edit the system environment variables. We want to edit the environment variables for your account. The environment variables open up, and we're looking for the path command. And there's the path command, the path variable. And we're going to edit the path variable. And what we want to do is we want to add another line to this that says the C myCommands folder. So we will go New and go C:/ myCommands and save this away. And finally click on the OK. And to test that this worked, we will press on the Windows key and start to type Notepad. And as you can see down here, added to the apps now is Notepad. Clicking on it opens Notepad 2. The next step is just an example to show you how you can associate a file type, let's say TXT, to automatically be opened with Notepad 2. To do that, we will File and Open, and here is the Notepad 2 text file. So we'll open that. What's nice is right from within Notepad 2, you can make this association by clicking on File and then Properties. And then right now, the default is to open with Notepad, and we can say we would like to change that. Now we're going to have to tell it where to look. So we'll go to More Apps and scroll all the way down to the bottom of the list to say I would like to look for another app on this PC. And when that opens up, we want to go to the myCommands folder where we have our commands stored and click on Notepad 2 and open it. It now says Notepad 2 is going to be the default application. We will say OK. The way to verify that this association is now working is to open up a text file in another directory. So we will go to the C drive, to the Files subdirectory, and there is a text file called readme.txt. We're just going to double click on it. And automatically that file is now opened with Notepad 2. As a developer, there are a few Notepad 2 settings that help me to use Notepad 2 to the best that I can, and these setting changes only need to be done once, and you can set your Notepad 2 settings to anything that you want. We'll start by going to the View on the main menu, and I always have on Visual Brace Matching, highlight the current line, and line numbers. That helps me with the brace matching in various languages. Line numbers help me identify the lines better, and highlighting the current line makes it easier to know what line you're working on. The next set of settings to be changed are under the Settings menu item. And I want to insert tab as spaces. And for tab settings, I set both the tabular width and the indentation size to 2. And make certain that the insert tabs are turned on and that the tab key reformats indentation is also checked. The next items I like to set are Show the Toolbar, which is the toolbar with the icons on it. Show the Status Bar, which is the bar at the bottom that shows a lot of information about the file that you're editing. And then Save Settings on Exit I have checked on, because if I make any changes to the settings while I'm using Notepad+, I want them saved. And then I click on the Save Settings Now just to make certain that I get a copy of these changes. It says the current program settings have been saved, and I click on OK. The standard Notepad 2 theme is a white background with black text. I prefer a dark background with lighter characters. Just about all the studies on light versus dark backgrounds favor the light backgrounds, especially with people who have astigmatism, which represent about 50% of the population. The studies that have been done show that dark backgrounds, there is a fuzzier focus known as halation. And that's not helation like in Fall from Grace to Helation. I find that working for long hours using a dark background, that my eyes don't get as fatigued as they do with a light background. And when I work late into the evening, the dark background makes it easier for me to reduce the bright light that sometimes can be making sleeping difficult. If you want a dark theme with Notepad 2, then you will need a special color theme file, and you will copy it to the myCommands folder. Now, Notepad 2 does allow you to have multiple themes and switch between them, but I like to have the default theme for Notepad 2 be the dark theme. So I just copy the dark theme file over the default Notepad 2 file. I would suggest that you rename the existing one to another file name prior to copying the new theme over it. I'll show how this is done. The Notepad 2 Dark theme is available from a download link that I will put in the description, and it is a .ini file with the information on how to set up the theme. So I will go to the download directory and look for the dark theme, and there is the dark Notepad 2 .ini file. So I'm going to make a copy of this file, and then I'm going to go back to the myCommands directory. And in the myCommands directory, the Notepad 2 ini file that's right here is the default one, that is the light background with the dark characters. We're going to rename that one, and we are going to call it Light Notepad. Then we will copy or paste the dark theme to here, and then we'll rename the dark theme to just Notepad 2. So now Notepad 2 is the dark theme, and the light Notepad is the original light background dark character theme. Now, to verify that the dark theme is actually in place, I'm going to open up a JavaScript file in one of my development areas. And here's the index file that I would like to open up with Notepad 2. I'll right-click on it and say I would like to open it with, and I would like to choose another app. Scroll down, you'll notice that Notepad 2 is listed. By clicking on the OK, we open the JavaScript file in Notepad, and notice the theme is a dark background with light characters, and there is color syntax highlighting that makes the JavaScript file a whole lot easier to use. That's one of the features I really like. Another one is the ability to match parentheses and brackets, because those are the things in JavaScript that drive you crazy. This is the dark theme, Notepad 2. If you were entertained or learned something or laughed just a little bit, press that like button. Leave me a comment with suggestions, requests, or even criticisms. I try to respond to any and all comments. Show your support by subscribing to my channel. Every subscriber that I get makes me smile just a little bit more. My goal is to have 500 subscribers by the end of the year. I have a companion blog at geekmusthave.com where I ramble on about all things technical. Stop by and visit me. Thank you, and have a good one.